This evening, scholarships, job creation, and scout ground are just a few of the major developments that Kaneville expects to see in the near future. This is according to Acting Commissioner of Police. Food for the Poor Guyana paid the fines for the release of 5 nonviolent felons to be home for the Easter holiday. A woman from Foulis was murdered by her husband only days before she was scheduled to appear in court for domestic abuse. In the region, illegal mining abuses surge on indigenous land in Brazil, and internationally, rape and sexual violence rising concern in Ukraine, says UN Women. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Food for the Poor Guyana Incorporated has done it again. They have afforded 3 families an opportunity to look forward for a bright Easter holiday this year. The organization has paid the fines for the release of 3 non-violent criminals, allowing them to spend the Easter holidays with their families, especially their children. The prisoners were incarcerated due to their inability to pay the required fines, despite the amounts being minimal. Mr. Ken Vincent, the Chief Executive Officer of Food for the Poor, said it had been the charity's tradition for more than 2 decades to pay the fines for nonviolent inmates in the Caribbean and Latin American countries where they have a presence twice a year during Easter and Christmas seasons. Meanwhile, Director of Prisons Nicolon Elliott thanked Food for the Poor for their part in assisting the Ghana Prison Service in promoting prisoners' rehabilitation and reintegration into society. Mr. Elliott used the opportunity to call on other NGOs and the business community at large to play their part in assisting the Ghana Prison Service in promoting the prisoners' reintegration initiatives. Officer in charge of prisoners' welfare and corrections, Mrs. Marcel Bristol Grant, encouraged the prisoners to change their lives in a meaningful way and return to their respective communities as productive citizens. The 3 prisoners were grateful to Food for the Poor for paying their fines. The Acting Commissioner of Police visited Kaneville residents and vowed to assist in rehabilitating the community's reputation. Esther Soares has more details.
Clifton Hicken, the top acting cop, resumed his series of meetings with the people of Kaneville East Bank Danrara to maintain pledge to lower the crime rate in the community and remove illegal substances from the street corners. Over 300 villagers were there as the top cop and several other policing officials outlined ideas for community development, including a vocational program, youth training, scout organizations, and scholarship, among other things.
So make sure that after the training, for those who are going to work in hospitality, to start off their own business by assisting them to get their own equipment and start their business. Heavy duty drivers and other skill trainings to try to channel them into occupation where they can earn a living for themselves. The scholarship programs now are 2 levels. Those who are preparing for common entrance and those who are preparing for CSEC. And the scholarship extend not only for the tuition fee, but for all the resources needed to do the studies. The books, the uniform, transportation, and of course during the day, lunch for the youths.
During the meeting, the top cop encouraged parents of youths to have them join the scout group, which will aid in the development of the community.
I want to give you this opportunity to maximize. And so I'm going to address you through the commander. And so I'm going to address you and pass instructions at the same time. With immediate effect, meaning as soon as I would have left here, the commander on our team will take names and addresses from the parents who are interested in allowing them, their children to be part of the scout groups. The skill set coming out of this Scouts Association can provide a skill set, the nurturing, and the experience so you can be in the field of work. But more importantly, it has to be built around trust. You have to entrust the police because of our partnership, and so we can harness the children in a positive way and develop them, inculcate other cultures, from varying other regions and communities because they're all going to be centralized in one area.
Hicken also noted the importance of sports and recreational activities for youths to enhance the community further.
Identify a piece of land that is suitable for development, and so we can have a recreational facility in Kaneville. Yes, that's a white side. And so that is premised on two fronts. One, that you create an environment for members of the corporate sector to come into this community without fear, to identify persons from your community for employment and job opportunities. And more importantly, like the police, we have limitations. Like Kano, they have limitations. And like our stakeholders, they have limitations. And so, identification, selection of a piece of plot to develop into a recreational area for the youths to develop potential, we will have to work in close collaboration with the MDC.
Many villagers appreciated Mr. Hickens and other police officials' intentions and proposals as they plan to work together in peace and harmony. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. A 57-year-old woman has become the country's latest victim of domestic violence after she was fatally stabbed by her husband at their home at 15th Street, Foulis, East Coast Demerara early this morning. The dead woman had been identified as Savitri Raj. Reports said that sometime around 1 a.m., the woman's husband, Vijay Raj, stabbed her multiple times before escaping. Family members related that the man broke a window in the house and escaped. The couple's daughter heard her groaning in her sleep and thought she was feeling unwell. However, upon checking on her mother, she discovered her lying in blood with stab wounds to her neck. The couple, who had been married for 32 years, had been having relationship problems for some time. 3 weeks ago, the woman was attacked and injured in the head by the man with a Guinness bottle. The woman filed a police report at the Enmore police station and the case was brought to court. They were scheduled to appear in court on Wednesday. The man is said to have made threats to kill both himself and his wife in the past. Stick around after the break. PNCR leader went on a walk around in the Mocha Arcade neighborhood, and counseling and other forms of therapy will be provided at no cost to the Child Care and Protection Agency employees.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands, and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. On Friday, Minister of Human Services and Social Security Dr. Vinay Prasad disclosed that officers working for the Child Care and Protection Agency are expected to benefit from free counseling and author therapy sessions to help boost their mental health. The exercise will go into effect following the signature of a memorandum of understanding with the necessary agencies. Minister Prasad said the issue and challenges these officers face while performing their duties can be extremely difficult. It can also affect their home and personal lives. She believes that a person's mental health is vital, and not only to themselves but also to the persons around them. The minister urged the officers to take advantage of the service when it comes on stream. She reminded them that mental health and depression are not small things, and if they feel pressured and challenged to an extent that their mental health is affected, they should not be afraid to reach out and ask for the service. She stressed that the sessions with the professionals would be purely confidential. The leader of the PNCR went on another walkabout, this time in the Mocha Arcade neighborhood. Esther Sobers has more.
Aubrey C. Norton, the People's National Congress reform head, performed another walkabout in the Mocha Arcadia community on Thursday, April 7, 2022. Nima Foulis, Member of Parliament, Mr. Rudolph Abrams, Chairman of Mocha Arcadia, NDC, Councillors Mr. Gregory Fraser and Mrs. Chanel Smith-Daniels, Community Representative, among others, accompanied him. They listened to concerns of the residents within the Mocha Arcadia. Residents of Mocha neighborhood have stressed the need for significant road maintenance to facilitate road upgrades within the community. The crew was also concerned about several other issues identified by residents. The leader has committed to bringing those issues to light and holding the government accountable for those matters. The walkabout is another of several being conducted by the party leader and team countrywide. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Sri Lanka doctors warn of critical equipment shortage and illegal mining abuses surge on indigenous land in Brazil. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things. What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana.
The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees.
Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. According to a new report, illegal gold mining surged by a record amount last year on Brazil's biggest indigenous reservation, which carries chilling accounts of abuses by miners, including extorting sex from women and girls. Al Jazeera's Monica Yannicure reports.
The protesters covered their bodies with yellow mud, posing as statues made of gold, then sprayed themselves with red ink, a symbol of the indigenous blood spilt by miners in their reservations. 7,000 representatives of 200 indigenous tribes came from all over Brazil to the capital, Brasilia, to march against a controversial bill that would open their lands to mining and was scheduled to be voted this week. The protest was called on the same day that a 120-page report was released by the Yanomami people and an NGO with shocking stories about the damage already done by illegal miners.
Illegal miners have been offering food to our underage girls in return for sex. They polluted our rivers with mercury and poisoned the fish we eat. Now our youngsters feel they depend on gold to survive, and some of our leaders have sided with the miners because they feel they can't depend on the government for protection.
President Jair Bolsonaro has used the war in Ukraine to push the bill to the top of the agenda. Bolsonaro says Brazil's powerful agricultural industry may run out of fertilizers, which it imports from Eastern Europe, and should therefore exploit its own mineral resources. But it's mostly gold, not the phosphates used in fertilizer, beneath the affected indigenous lands, and illegal mining is already rampant. In 2021, the amount of Yanomami land destroyed by illegal mining increased by 46%.
The Kayapo and Munduruku peoples are suffering the same onslaught from armed illegal miners. That's why we decided to form an alliance to fight this threat by gathering as much information as we can and making it public.
Critics say the government has turned a blind eye to illegal miners for years.
Mining may still be illegal in Brazil's indigenous territories, but that has not kept illegal miners from invading indigenous lands. There are an estimated 20,000 illegal miners just in the Yanomami reservation.
The indigenous people say their lives are already at risk. Opening their lands to mining will leave them totally unprotected. Monica Yanaki of Al Jazeera, Brasilia.
Internationally, doctors in Sri Lanka are warning of critical shortage of life-saving drugs and medical supplies as the country faces a worsening economic crisis. Al Jazeera's Manili Fernandez reports.
Sri Lanka's National Health Service is the only option for those who can't afford private health care. They seek treatment here at the National Hospital in Colombo or in a network of state hospitals. But the country's economic crisis has hit them hard.
Most people are helpless. We are told to buy everything from outside. Even the needle used to check sugar levels has to be bought from outside. There is no point coming to a government hospital for treatment.
Doctors have been warning of an impending medical disaster as they face shortages affecting their ability to treat patients. Many doctors are reluctant to speak on the record, but some union members are speaking out.
There may be a situation if this continues when a person comes with a road traffic accident, won't be able to get the surgical services. I can't exactly say when it is going to happen, but if nothing rescuable thing happens, we may have to see one dark day like that.
The private sector is also facing shortages of heart medication, pediatric and other drugs and consumables.
Patients already, they are panicked now. They are getting some more sick. Day by day it's going, stocks are going out of stock. Today actually we had a massive crowd because of the shortage, and they rather I don't know how we are going to continue this in future.
The government is facing an acute shortage of foreign currency that's affecting its ability to pay for imports. The Ministry of Health says it has now allocated $14 million to secure medical supplies. But critics say the government is risking lives. Rocketing prices, shortages of food, cooking gas and fuel, and 13-hour power cuts have brought Sri Lankans to the streets. Anger and frustration has led to continuous protests here outside the President's office for the past 3 days.
The government says it's taking action, but doctors are desperate, saying lives are being put in danger, and are warning that the crisis will only worsen if supplies aren't provided. Manila Fernandez, Al Jazeera, Colombo.
And And finally, the United Nations Security Council has heard that rape is being used as a weapon of war in Ukraine in a session focusing on how war has impacted women and children. Al Jazeera's Kirsten Salumi reports.
Women, children, and the elderly make up the majority of the 11 million Ukrainians fleeing conflict, according to the United Nations. They also filled the Kramatorsk train station in Donetsk, where a Russian missile struck on Friday.
And I must say, in my 31 years as a humanitarian, I've rarely seen so much damage caused in so little time.
The impact of the fighting on the most vulnerable civilians was presented to the United Nations Security Council on Monday.
In just 6 weeks, nearly two-thirds of all Ukrainian children have been displaced. They have been forced to leave behind everything: their homes, their school, and often their family members.
Families forced to split up to escape the fighting are particularly vulnerable to human trafficking and sexual abuse, according to UN experts who said accusations of sexual assault in areas held by Russian forces are on the rise.
We know and see, and we want you to hear our voices, that violence and rape is used now as a weapon of war by Russian invaders in Ukraine. Reports from Kievska, Khersonska, and Chernigivska Oblast, reported by the survivors themselves and by the witnesses. Raped by a group of occupants multiple times with life threat to survivors, their children, their family members, in front of the family members and other people. Real cases, real people, real facts.
Russia's deputy ambassador denied the accusations.
No convincing evidence has been presented for any of these crimes, but it's understandable that you have trampled on the presumption of innocence a long time ago.
But other council members called for accountability.
Let me be very clear. There must be no impunity for crimes against children. In order to ensure accountability, we need to collect, analyze, and store evidence on all crimes against children.
More than 140 children have been killed in Ukraine, with hundreds more wounded or having lost a family member. The United Nations says it can't confirm reports of women being raped or of children being sent to Russia against their families' wishes, but it's calling for a full investigation and respect for international law. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Wednesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.